Hello friends and welcome back to the Brockopp side. Today we got ourselves a Blu-ray review of Avengers Endgame in glorious 4K. So yeah, as you can see here, I got myself the super sexy Best Buy exclusive Steelbook for Avengers Endgame, which is pretty fitting because last year when Infinity War came out, I also got that Steelbook, so it kind of feels like if I didn't get the Steelbook for Endgame as well, it would have just kind of felt a little odd and incomplete-like, which is why I got up at 10 in the morning to go get it. So, as I always say, if you don't pre-order, get there early. So as you can see here on the cover, the front has this really big purple Avengers logo with all of these surviving Avengers in the front, including Iron Man, Cap, Thor, and all the other ones. And if you take a look at the back, it's got all the Avengers that were dusted at the end of Infinity War, which they do end up coming back at the end of this movie. Oh, sorry, spoilers! But how you managed to avoid spoilers is late in the game, I applaud you. So anyway, let's take a look inside the contents. So we just open it up like so. So on the inside, over here you've got your 4K disc, over here you got your Blu-ray disc, and this movie actually comes with a separate bonus disc with all the featurettes and behind-the-scenes stuff on it, which is pretty cool and something that the Infinity War Blu-ray was supposed to have, but they didn't for some reason. And on the inside we've got photos of Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson, of course them being the two major characters that did die in this movie, so it's pretty fitting that they made it on the interior, which is really cool and only slightly depressing. And of course, here's the digital download copy code. Whoever gets it first can have it. Enjoy yourself, and remember, I love you 3000. So before we go any further, I'll tell you my thoughts on this movie itself. Now, I actually did do a review of this movie when it first came out back in late April. Well, actually, I did a complete spoiler review of this movie, so I've talked literally about every single detail about this movie in great length. So if you want to see my in-depth thoughts on literally everything that happens in this movie, go check out my spoiler review up here. But I'll give you the quick rundown because that's kind of the point of this part of the video. So basically, I really enjoyed Endgame. It was a really satisfying conclusion to this 11-year saga of over 20 plus movies, seeing these characters progress from where they were in their solo films up until this moment where we've seen them grow and progress and face challenges and even lose to a big purple guy in space. And this is probably my #1 greatest movie theater experience I've ever had. You know, I went opening night with a couple of friends. The theater was absolutely packed, so getting to be there with just a crowd of super hyped Marvel fans just applauding when the Avengers all come back and come together to fight Thanos and his army and all these other moments. It was just a great time in the movie theater. Now, I know some people hate going to the movies because of that kind of thing, but let's face it, if you didn't see this movie with a wild, crazy crowd, did you really get the full experience? I don't think so. You know, there are some issues with the movie. You know, it's stuff that I've kind of picked up on a little bit more after each and every viewing. Well, I think a lot of it comes down to, like, nitpicking stuff, you know. When time travel is involved, like in a movie like this, you know, there's a lot that can be nitpicked and torn apart, you know, with their time travel rules and stuff. You know, like how you can go back to the past and change things, but won't change the future. I think it's explained pretty well by Hulk in this movie, but, you know, it's like, there's still some things you can definitely tear apart here. But you know what, overall, this movie is fantastic. It's very worthy of being the highest grossing movie of all time. And I think this movie has a good chance of beating Infinity War as far as how many times I've rewatched this movie on home video, because I've rewatched Infinity War a bazillion times since it's come out to Blu-ray, and there are just so many moments in this movie that I just have not stopped thinking about for the last few months, just thinking about, oh, that scene, that I just can't wait to own the movie and then watch it whenever I want. So yeah, Avengers Endgame, great movie, I love it. But that's enough about the movie, let's talk about the Blu-ray darn it. So picture and sound quality, the movie looks fantastic in 4K. It also looks really good on Blu-ray as well. I definitely did watch both versions back to back basically. And while the 4K just looks, cleaner, crisper, deeper blacks, richer colors, all that good stuff, but the Blu-ray itself still does look really good. So, I feel like there are gonna be some people with 4K in general that don't quite see enough of a difference to justify getting the 4K. But, I've got the TV, I got the player, and I wanted the cool Steelbook, so in the words of Ferris Bueller, if you have the means, I highly recommend. And as far as the bonus content goes, there's a completely separate disc for all the bonus features, which always gets me really excited about that because it means there's just so much that they couldn't fit it on the regular Blu-ray. And, well, as far as this movie goes, you got your featurettes, you got your gag reel, which is always fun to watch. But as far as the featurettes go, I was a little underwhelmed by them. Like I've said before, bonus content nowadays is kind of disappointing to begin with. A lot of the featurettes on this Blu-ray are about individual major characters like Iron Man, Cap, Hulk, Black Widow, and talking about their journeys throughout these movies and, what it was like for the actors to be cast in these roles and just seeing how these characters evolved from their perspective, which, yeah, it's really, really cool and it definitely makes sense for this movie to have it, but also I was just really hoping there'd be more about the movie itself, not just this whole reflection piece about the entire MCU. I wanted to see more information about, like stuff on the making of the movie itself, how they figured out certain plot points about the time travel and, just how they started to piece things together more. But again, the gag reel's a lot of fun to watch, and the deleted scenes are pretty cool here as well. A couple of these were released online, like Rhodey asking Cap why didn't he just in 1945 jump out of the plane before crashing into the ice, which is kind of a fun little moment, but as far as the rest of the deleted scenes go, it makes sense why they weren't in the movie to begin with, but still kind of fun to watch. But on the regular Blu-ray itself, there is an audio commentary with Joe and Anthony Russo, as well as the two writers for the movie, which I'm really happy that Marvel does have these directors and the writers' commentaries for these movies, especially the ones that the Russo brothers make, because you get a lot more information than the little featurettes do, so I'm looking forward to watching the whole movie all over again with the commentary, just learning more and more about, like, why they chose to do different things, basically just kind of filling in the holes that the featurettes kind of leave out, unfortunately. So overall, I'm really satisfied with this Blu-ray release for Avengers Endgame. I can't wait to rewatch this over and over and over again in 4K, just reliving all these great moments and just experiencing the final chapter of this Infinity Saga that's lasted over a decade. But now that I have this movie, I kind of feel like I need to just go back and marathon all the MCU movies leading up to this one. So, that's a lot of movies. I have a lot of work to do now. So, those are my thoughts on the Avengers Endgame 4K Blu-ray. If you guys picked up this edition or any of the other editions, or if you think Howard the Duck should have gotten more screen time at the final battle of the movie, let me know it down below, and we'll see you on the Brockopp side.